Live from our nation's capital, it's the 35th anniversary of the National Memorial Day Concert. And now, here are tonight's hosts, Tony Award winner Joe Mantegna and Emmy Award winner Gary Sinise.
Welcome to the 2024 National Memorial Day Concert. For over 3 decades, this concert has served as a memorial service for the nation.
With a performance in tribute to our fallen heroes and all who bravely defend our freedoms, here is Tony Award winner Patina Miller.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer. If you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And when a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find a way. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and to cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. A hero lies in you. A hero lies in you.
And now, welcome to the 35th anniversary of the National Memorial Day Concert. Tonight's special guests are Academy Award nominee Bryan Cranston, Screen Actors Guild nominee Jena Malone, Country Music Association Award winner Gary LeVox, Tony Award winner B.D. Wong, Tony Award nominee Mary McCormick, Tony Award winner Patina Miller, Academy of Country Music Award winner Jamie Johnson, Tony Award winner Ruthie Ann Miles, and Grammy, Emmy, and Tony Award winner Cynthia Erivo. Featuring the National Symphony Orchestra conducted by Maestro Jack Everly and General C.Q. Brown Jr., Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the U.S. Army Herald Trumpets, the U.S. Army Chorus, the Soldiers Chorus of the U.S. Army Field Band, the U.S. Navy Band Sea Chanters, the U.S. Air Force Singing Sergeants, the Armed Forces Color Guard and Service Color Teams, and Patrick Lundy and the Ministers of Music. The National Memorial Day Concert is made possible by Lockheed Martin.
For more than 2 centuries, brave Americans have served our country, protecting what matters most. Every day we are inspired by those who gave their all, making the ultimate sacrifice. This Memorial Day, we pay tribute to their courage and unwavering commitment to our country. At Lockheed Martin, we honor all those who made our future possible and keep us safe today.
And by
The Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans honors all who serve, including 236 of its esteemed members. Since 1947, the Horatio Alger Award has been presented to outstanding Americans who embody the American dream, built on hard work, perseverance, and success. Through them, the association has awarded $265 million in scholarships to enable 37,000 youth to pursue their American dream through higher education.
and by the National Park Service, Department of the Army, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, 84 Lumber, dedicated to honoring and hiring U.S. veterans. Learn more about career opportunities at 84lumber.com. General Dynamics, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. Please welcome back our hosts, Joe Mantegna and Gary Sinise.
Thank you for joining us on this 35th edition of the National Memorial Day Concert. As in years past, this is a sacred gathering, a way for all of us to come together here at the United States Capitol and across the nation to honor the heroism and sacrifice of those who gave their lives for the country we so dearly love.
We also pay tribute to America's Gold Star families and honor our wounded, ill, and injured veterans here with us tonight from Fort Belvoir Hospital and Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, and all those in uniform we so proudly hailed. Let's give everybody a big round of applause.
And now, please stand if you can, or stand for those who can't, with hand on heart or salute, as our national anthem is performed by Tony Award winner Ruthie Ann Miles.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, Ruthie Ann. Tonight, we are proud to have with us, as they have been from the beginning, America's Orchestra the National Symphony Orchestra, once again under the direction of Maestro Jack Everly.
This year marks the 80th anniversary of the turning point in World War II. It was a cause that united our nation as men and women from every American state and territory, from towns large and small, from every walk of life, came together to fight our common enemy. 16 million Americans, including a number of my and Joe's relatives, served in combat overseas and on the home front.
But tragically, not all our heroes came home, as more than 400,000 lost their lives in the greatest crisis the world has ever known. An epic all-or-nothing struggle to end global tyranny that ultimately claimed the lives of over 80 million men, women, and children.
The devastating attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941 roused America to action in a war that had been ravaging Europe for 2 long, murderous years. By the dawn of 1944, the United States' production capabilities and manpower were up to full fighting strength. American might could now be brought into every theater of war and help to secure victory against dictatorship.
In the Pacific, forces from the Army, Navy, and Marines continued their aggressive push toward the Philippines and on to Japan. They fought in the air, on the sea, and on the bloody ground of heavily defended jungle islands. In Italy, the Allies launched an amphibious assault against Anzio as they continued their push up the peninsula from Naples, forcing the German army into grinding battles along 2 savage fronts, a campaign of unremitting violence. Everywhere, our troops bravely began to turn the tide, paving the way to victory one costly step at a time. Rome, Normandy, the largest sea and air invasion in history. The liberation of Paris. Saipan, Tinian, Guam, Peleliu. The lives lost along the way were precious lives, precious to their country, precious to their loved ones, precious to the men themselves. By December 1944, with war in the Pacific raging on, final victory in Europe looked in sight. One last push could take the Allies across the Rhine and finish the Nazi war machine for good. Then, seeing a window of opportunity, Adolf Hitler staged a last-ditch blitzkrieg to stop the Allied advance. On December 16, 1944, the German counter-offensive exploded across an 80-mile front. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest engagement fought by the United States in World War II, bigger and more costly in human lives than even D-Day. American forces sustained appalling numbers of casualties. While units of General George S. Patton's Third Army sought to open a corridor to resupply our besieged forces, soldiers faced long odds in grueling circumstances. Frozen conditions delayed the delivery of much-needed replacements and supplies. The snow ran red with blood. Time and men were running out. The 87th Infantry was one of the many newly minted replacement divisions that found themselves thrust into brutal combat. Among them was 18-year-old enlistee Jack Moran. Here to tell his story is an Oscar nominee and multiple Emmy-winning actor whose parents served in the military during and after World War II, Bryan Cranston.
We were just a bunch of smart-ass kids, 17 and 18. We thought it was going to be an adventure. We didn't have any fear. We were just, let's get over there. Let's get into the fight. Our first day in action was in the Saar Valley outside of Metz, France. I saw 7 guys go down in 15 seconds. My best friend from basic, Hugh Gorman, got shot in the face by a German machine gun. When you get hit by a machine gun, it isn't just one bullet. You can't drop fast enough to avoid number 2, number 3, number 4. It ripped his face out. That month of combat, I saw enough death and destruction to last me a lifetime. Up on a place called Hill 360, I lost 4 more friends: Noble, Alton, McKinney, and my squad leader, Tommy Langston. I became the squad leader after that. All they told us was Hitler had broken through at the Bulge and destroyed our 106th Division in the first hour. 8,000 men taken prisoner. The way we heard it, General Eisenhower told Patton and Montgomery, the British commander, that he needed some help. Patton hated Montgomery. So when Montgomery said he can be up there in 4 days, Patton said he can do it in 3. Well, that was us. A 40-hour ride in open bed trucks, freezing our butts off in the cold, strafed the whole way. No blankets, no bedrolls. We got up around Bastogne in the middle of the night. Snow was about a foot deep. At 4 o'clock the next morning, I remember I was sucking on a frozen turkey leg. That was my Christmas dinner for 1944. We dug a circle of foxholes and stayed quiet. The Germans had us surrounded. The kid in the foxhole next to me got a bullet between the eyes. All we could do was pull his helmet down and try not to look. One night I heard somebody 3 feet from my foxhole. I pulled a pin on a grenade, I rolled it over the edge and hoped it didn't kill any of us. It did the job. 6 days we were pinned down. Our food ran out after 3. When we got thirsty, we ate snow. The Germans threw a lot of heavy mortars at us. The 88s came in thick as snowflakes. I mean, it got so bad, I knelt in my foxhole. I held up my arms and I said, "Please stop. Please, God, stop the shelling." That was the first time I ever cried in the war, and the last. The brass figured we'd been all wiped out. Headquarters started to pack up our personal effects, but after the Army Air Force broke through, we managed to make it back to base with our dead and wounded. Finally got to take a hot bath. Ooh, it sure beat throwing flea powder down your underwear. From Bastogne, we started marching east toward Germany. We crossed the Rhine at midnight in boats about as big as a pool table. 128 men in 16 boats, 8 men to a boat. The second we hit the water, the Germans started throwing up flares. They lit up that river like it was a baseball field at 9 o'clock. I yelled for my men to dig in. And some of the guys were so tempted to jump into the water and swim, but with all that equipment, you'd drown if you didn't freeze to death first. I had a radio man in my boat, Frank Nagel. He was riding number 3 position right directly behind me. Halfway across, I felt a bullet whiz past me. and it hit Frank in the heart. And he fell over on top of me. We lost about half our men that night. They were pulling corpses out of the river for a week after that. So much blood in the water. It was a terrible thing to look at, and you never forget. My unit arrived in Buchenwald 2 days after it was liberated. Now, we already knew the concentration camps existed. They had started to remove the dead bodies, but there were still survivors there. Human shadows, barely able to stand, but oh, still happy to see us. We went through the barracks, we saw the ovens. It was hard to believe man could be so inhumane to his fellow man. Now, when the news of the German surrender came, our outfit was one of the first to be sent home. They wanted us back in training for the invasion of Japan, and we were going to be in the first wave. It ate at our guts. I didn't think I could survive 2 wars. And thank God it was over before we got there. On Memorial Day, my mind goes back to the guys who fought and died right next to me. The guys I lost on Hill 360, the saddest day of my life. And when I close my eyes, I can still see it all. The price we paid to win that war was staggering. So many men never got the chance to be a good parent or a loving husband. They lost everything. And I thank God every single day for protecting and saving me. Sometimes I don't think I deserve all the good fortune I've had. And well, there aren't many of us left. War is a terrible thing, but that war was so important. Making it out alive means you're here for a purpose. You're on a mission. I give talks to young people. I share my story. I hope I can inspire pride in their country, an appreciation for the sacrifices and suffering so many people endured to protect our way of life. If I can do that, then it'll be worth every drop of blood we shed.
They were the soul and spirit of what is called America's greatest generation. What they faced, what they endured, and what they accomplished and sacrificed will never be forgotten.
With us this evening are some true American heroes representing all those who served during the Second World War. Please join us in thanking them. Tonight, as we honor and remember those who lost their lives defending our freedom, we also thank all who have worn or are wearing our nation's uniform. And we hold in our hearts all those military families who also serve while their heroes are in harm's way. They are all equal partners in their service to our country.
It's been said that 6 words live at the heart of what every military family member feels as they give that hug and say goodbye. Fight strong, fight hard, come home. With a song dedicated to all our military families, here is multiple award-winning country artist from Rascal Flatts, Gary LaVox.
Thank you to all the military women and men and their families for making this song so special. I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping I would find true love along the broken road. Oh, but I got lost a time or two. I wiped my brow, but I kept pushing through. Couldn't see how every sign pointed straight to you. Every long lost dream led me to where you are. And others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pulling me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know is true, that God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Think about the years I spent just passing through. Well, I'd like to have the time I've lost and give it back to you. Oh, but you just smile and take my hand. You've been there, you understand. It's all part of the grander plan that is coming true. And every long lost dream led me to where you are. Others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, holding me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know is true, that God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Oh, now I'm just rolling home into my lover's arms. This much I know is true. God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. That God bless the broken road and that led me straight to you.
Thank you, Gary. Following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, thousands of young Americans volunteered to serve, many carrying on a tradition from those who came before them: devotion to service and commitment to country. The 20-year conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan marked the longest period of continuous warfare in American history. Over 2 million soldiers, sailors, airmen and Marines, National Guard and reserves deployed. These past decades have brought fresh challenges for these brave and devoted American heroes. Over half of America's all-volunteer military force was called upon for multiple deployments, not knowing where they'd be sent or for how long. Each assignment increased the likelihood of injury and death, as our troops faced violent attacks from insurgents, ambushes, and IEDs. The toll on U.S. forces was heavy. Nearly 7,000 made the final sacrifice. Over 52,000 sustained wounds in combat, while hundreds of thousands more experienced war-related traumas of body, mind, and spirit. Our returning wounded, ill, and injured were forced to confront a life they never imagined. Inspired by her father and mother, both United States Marines, Kirstie Ennis enlisted at age 17 and deployed to Afghanistan in 2011. Here to share her story is award-winning screen, television, and stage actor Jena Malone.
In my eyes, my parents were superheroes. They woke up every single day to do something for the greater good, and I wanted to give them a reason to be proud of me, the same way that I was proud of them. In 3rd grade, my Barbies wore dress blues, and my baby dolls wore camouflage. So I don't think it was much of a surprise when I said, "It's my time now." I joined the Marines and became an aerial door gunner. It's a combat position. You're behind a .50 caliber gun. You're the eyes and ears of the pilot, looking for enemy fire, helping them land, getting your guys home safely. My job was to support the heroes on the ground. Whether it's the innocent people you're trying to help, or the brothers and sisters you'd willingly lay your life down for, there's always a personal connection. The day of the crash, June 23rd, 2012, everything was off. It should have been a routine extraction of Marines from a forward operating base. Normally, we wouldn't go out in broad daylight. You're easy to spot, but you do what you're told. I was on left door gun when we flew into a sandstorm. The pilot couldn't see anything. It was complete chaos. The nose started going down, and I saw the ground come rushing towards us. And instead of freaking out, I counted like it was a normal landing. 3, 2, 1. And then we crashed. Hard. When my .50 cal hit the dirt, it slammed back into my face. I tried to scream, but all my tongue could feel was broken teeth and a shattered jaw. You could put a whole fist through the wound. I tried to pull myself up, but my legs collapsed underneath me. An airman bent down and said, "Don't close your eyes, because you won't open them again." I just stared at an overhead light in the cabin and told myself, I'm not gonna die without seeing my little sister again. And then everything went black. The next thing I remember is seeing my sergeant major and my gunnery sergeant crying over me in this makeshift hospital. I knew right then that I wasn't going to finish out that deployment with my guys. I endured 46 surgeries, leg, spine, both arms. An amazing female doctor managed to reconstruct my face, but nobody could fix my leg. Being an amputee is like being a toddler all over again. You have to learn to balance before you can walk or run. For almost 2 years, I worked to get better, to get back to my guys. It was so incredibly hard. And it wasn't just the scars on my body, I had scars on my heart, these invisible injuries. Losing my leg was nothing compared to what I went through when I lost my purpose. I suffered with a lot of demons, but I never talked about them. On my Alive Day, what veterans call the anniversary of the day that they were injured, I didn't see the point of trying to heal anymore. I just wanted a way out. So I threw myself into a river. But I didn't disappear the way I'd wanted. Somebody found me and brought me to the hospital. When my dad came to see me, he said, "You know, the enemy couldn't kill you, and now you're doing it for them." You gotta be kidding me. To see him come to me and cry, someone who is a combat veteran, it reminded me of all those who lost loved ones and were hurting. I was lucky. I came home broken, but I came home. I learned that it's not weak to be vulnerable, and it's not weak to reach out. So at that moment, I recommitted 100% to my recovery. My military career was over. And what was I left to do? To be honest, a total stranger gave me hope. They walked into my hospital room and asked if I wanted to learn to snowboard, a movement as medicine. 4 months after another surgery, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Since then, I've climbed 6 of the 7 summits, the highest peaks on each continent. I host recreational therapy clinics where people can share and heal together. A total stranger believed in me, so now I pay that forward. Maybe I'm no longer active duty, but I can still serve my veterans in other ways. Wherever I go, I carry symbolic dog tags and leave them behind in hopes that someone will discover those names and take a moment to appreciate what they sacrificed. On Memorial Day, the biggest honor we can give our fallen soldiers, whether we lost them overseas or as they battled their own demons back home, is to share their names and tell their stories. They stepped up to put their lives on the line for the rest of us, and they did not die in vain. I am here because of them. I am here living, breathing, and walking for them. I can never quit. I can never give up. And I'm carrying their memory with me.
Please welcome an Emmy, Grammy, and Tony-winning artist, Cynthia Erivo.
Many nights we prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts, a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when we believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to hear. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow.
Thank you, Cynthia. Earlier this spring, our nation lost a legendary hero, Colonel Ralph Puckett, Jr. A three-time recipient of the Purple Heart, he led the 8th Army Ranger Company during the Korean War and was the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from that war. It was his extraordinary heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty in the battle for Hill 205 that earned him our nation's highest award for military valor. In final tribute, a month ago, he became only the 2nd Medal of Honor recipient to lie in honor in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol.
It was said of Colonel Puckett that he feared no man, he feared no situation, and he feared no enemy. Words that describe so many of those who fought and those who died in what was once called the Forgotten War. With us are veterans representing all those who served and are still serving in Korea. Please join us in thanking these American heroes.
From the Revolutionary War to the present day, generations of Americans in the same family have answered the call to duty. These military families have become the backbone of our nation, fighting for freedom, keeping us safe and strong. But when a loved one makes the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, the grief of their Gold Star families runs deep. For them, every day is Memorial Day. Conflicts change, but the pain of casualties and death remains eternal. Vietnam was a conflict unlike any other in our history. It was our first televised war and our last war to use drafted forces. More than 2.7 million Americans served in country. Our troops fought for each other. They looked after their brothers, and as they fought to survive together, their bond grew strong. When one of them was killed, the loss was overwhelming. Over 58,000 of our servicemen and women died in Vietnam. Hawaiian-born Alan Ho was drafted in 1966. He arrived in Vietnam in December 1967, just before the devastating communist surprise attack known as the Tet Offensive. Here to share his story is acclaimed actor B.D. Wong.
As a teenager, my interests were surfing, hot rods, and chasing girls. But in my family, you always heard stories about warriors because we Hawaiians live in a warrior culture. Kids from my generation accepted you were going to serve. I was sent to Fort Sam Houston and trained as a combat medic. Most of my class got assignments to Vietnam, but I landed at the Presidio in San Francisco. After a while, I started to ask myself, am I worthy? So I submitted a request for transfer to Vietnam. The company first sergeant thought I was crazy. I knew that, but I also knew I needed to prove myself. They assigned me to a long-range reconnaissance platoon. The #1 job was staying alive. As a medic, you are responsible for the health and welfare of every guy in your platoon. On patrol, I never hesitated to be one of the first guys firing my weapon. After a while, you feel invincible, no matter what kind of horrors you've seen. I was on mandatory R&R when my unit went in to help some Green Berets and got overrun. 18 of my buddies ended up killed or missing in action on Mother's Day, 1968. The worst thing as a grieving parent is not knowing about the last moments of your kid's life. So when I got back home, I found my friends' families and did what I could to offer comfort. I got married to a wonderful woman, Adele. We had 2 amazing sons. Nainoa was our eldest. His name means he who is without limits. He was born the night of a full harvest moon. When he was 12, I took him to the Vietnam Memorial Wall and showed him the names of the men I'd served with. He grew up knowing their stories. Later, we went to watch the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Nainoa decided right then he wanted to be a soldier. Joined the junior ROTC program, enlisted, aced Navy dive school, passed Ranger school the first time. Nobody does that. Finally, he became a first lieutenant for the 25th Infantry Striker Unit. Nainoa loved serving. He gave everything to his guys. Mosul, Iraq, in 2005 was a dangerous place. 24/7 combat. Saturday, January 22nd, Nainoa and his team were securing a polling place. An enemy sniper identified him as the platoon leader. The bullet tore through a gap in Nainoa's flak jacket and pierced his aorta. A medic worked to keep his heart pumping. They raced through the streets to the aid station. None of his guys would leave. They just stood out in the rain, waiting. A trauma nurse found Nainoa's pulse and sent him to the operating room. But nothing could be done. The day he was killed, there was a full moon. Even now, whenever his men see a full moon, immediately they say, "That's our lieutenant." For me and Adele, the world just stopped. I was numb, in disbelief. Adele was incredibly strong. Our youngest son, Nakoa, was set to deploy to Iraq, but flew home instead. He lived up to his name. He who is courageous, in the way he dealt with his brother's loss and shared our grief. After being a soldier in Vietnam, I thought I knew what loss meant. But let me tell you, until your son is killed in combat, you don't have a clue. I had a button made with Nainoa's picture and the words "My Hero" to wear every day. In May 2005, I was scheduled to speak at the Memorial Day ceremony at the Vietnam Wall. That morning, I presented traditional Hawaiian leis to 2 nurses who'd served in Iraq and were being honored at the Women's Memorial. I welcomed this young woman, Paula Coughlin, and started to put the lei over her head. She grabbed the button on my chest and said, "I know him. That's my son," I said. "I was his trauma nurse. I was with him when he died." We were both speechless. Finally, I said, "What a miracle, what a blessing to meet you." She told me how all 40 of Nainoa's guys knelt around his bed and prayed. How she held his hand in his last moments. How she would never forget his face. I told Paula, I knew deep in my heart that everything possible had been done to save my son's life. That day at the wall, I shared Nainoa's story with the families gathered there in front of those 58,000 names. Every year it gets harder to talk about Nainoa's death. I see the young kids who were part of my son's platoon suddenly growing up, becoming parents, becoming fathers. That's what hurts the most. My son was the best soldier I ever knew. I've been able to serve him by sharing his legacy with younger soldiers. I tell them about Nainoa and his battle buddies, about the men I fought with in Vietnam, and the 18 guys I lost, 16 of them now buried in U.S. soil, because people need to hear those stories. Each year, on Memorial Day, Adele and I pause to remember the young men and women whose lives were cut short, their futures extinguished along with their hopes and dreams of their loved ones at home. We honor them by saying their names and remembering the special moments in the lives of our heroes that brought us the most joy. Ahui ho nanoa. Until we meet again.
The traditional Hawaiian folk song, Aloha Oe, shares a message of a sorrowful goodbye, a last embrace, and hopes to meet again one day. With a performance dedicated to all our Gold Star families, once again, here is Ruthie Ann Miles.
Farewell to you. Eke ona ona hoi kalipo. One fond embrace. Ahoi aeau. Until we meet again.
Sweet memories come back to me, bringing fresh remembrances of the past. And so, my dearest one, I say to you, aloha, oe, farewell to you. Eke ona ona no, I kalipo. One fond embrace. Ahoi aeau. Until we meet again. Mahalo nui loa.
Thank you, Ruthie Ann. Tonight at this concert and tomorrow on Memorial Day, we remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
It is for those heroes and their families that we have Memorial Day. It is for them that we now play taps. Please welcome country music artist and Marine Corps veteran, Jamey Johnson.
Standing in this field of limestone, watching flags wave in the air. You know we'd love to take you back home, but there ain't no place like this there. A preacher stammers through a nice verse, does his best to eulogize, but times like this, there ain't no right words. The rifles fire and your life flashes right before my eyes. I don't need no one to tell me you're a hero. Hell, I've known that ever since you were young. There ain't words to say how proud we all are of you, son. Nothing says job well done like 21 guns. They dressed you up in your best uniform. They pinned your medals on your chest. That folded flag they gave your mama seemed to say, we all know that you did your best, but I don't need no one to tell me you're a hero. Hell, I've known that ever since you were young. And there ain't words to say how proud we all are of you, son. Nothing says job well done like 21 guns.
Thank you, Jamey. Joining us on tonight's 35th National Memorial Day concert, as she has for the past 8 years, is acclaimed actress Mary McCormack.
Thank you, Joe. I'm so grateful to be back here again tonight. Simply put, there is nothing I do that is more meaningful to me than this concert. My father, William McCormack, enlisted in the Marines in 1956. He's no longer with us, but he instilled in all of his children a love for our country and the importance of honoring those who serve. I am and always will think of myself as the proud daughter of a Marine. And now I'd like to bring on stage another proud daughter of 2 Marines, a veteran whose story you heard earlier. Please welcome Kirstie Ennis. Kirstie, thank you for being with us tonight. Your dedication to your cause is so inspiring. From your perspective, what are the long-term challenges that our active service members and veterans face?
So when you're in the military, especially if you're a combat veteran, you thrive on being in the action, on operating at high speed, at being there to protect your people and carry out your mission. And then you come home to your day-to-day uncertainty of not knowing what's going to trigger you, and then also not having the support that you need.
What support is it that our veterans need most?
The hardest thing for veterans to do today is to ask for help. So many out there feel that they are not deserving. So help has to be offered by the veteran support organizations out there, and then also by friends and family.
Kirsty, what can all of us do to help?
If you're a civilian, lean in and reach out. If you notice something about a veteran that is close to you, listen to them without judgment, without any criticism. Let them express their pain to you. Listen not just to hear their words, but to understand. It may be an uncomfortable conversation, but those minutes you spend could save somebody's life. I truly believe all the men and women that we lost are watching us. They're looking over us, and we need to live for them.
Kirsty, thank you for being with us tonight. And now, once again, please welcome Gary LaVox.
I dedicate this song to all those struggling with the wounds of war. So let's show our support for them by holding our flashlights high in the air in tribute. It's like a storm that cuts a path. It breaks your will. It feels like that. Oh, you think you're lost, but you're not lost on your own. You're not alone. I will stand by. I will help you through. When you've done all you can do, you can't call. I will dry your eyes. I will fight your fight. I will hold you tight, and I won't let go. Oh, it hurts my heart to see you cry. I know it's dark, this part of life. Oh, but it finds us all. We're too small to stop the rain. Oh, but when it rains, I will stand by. I will help you through. When you've done all you can do, you can't cope. I will dry your eyes. I will fight your fight. I will hold you tight, and I won't let go. Oh, I'm gonna hold you, and I won't let go.
Thank you, Gary. It is so important that we stand by our brothers and sisters in need. If you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms of emotional distress, mental illness, or having thoughts of suicide, help is available at the number on your screen. Don't suffer in silence. Please reach out.
Our military members and their families need our support, and there are so many ways we can support our returning veterans. General Colin Powell, who was part of this concert for so many years, would often suggest things as simple as offering to run errands, mentoring someone, or hiring a veteran if possible. On our website, you'll find links to organizations dedicated to helping veterans, Gold Star families, active duty military, and their families. It is how all of us can give something back to those who have given so much.
As a tradition from the beginning of the National Memorial Day concert 35 years ago, we now salute all the men and women from every branch of our armed services. Please welcome our nation's top military advisors, the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
And now, Maestro Jack Everly, our orchestra and military choruses perform the Armed Forces Medley. Whether here or watching at home, if you are able, please stand when your service is presented. The United States Coast Guard.
United States Space Force.
United States Air Force.
United States Navy.
United States Marines.
we are privileged to introduce the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Christopher W. Grady.
And now, it is our honor to introduce the distinguished Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Please welcome General C.Q. Brown, Jr.
On this Memorial Day, we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. More than 1 million brave and valiant souls laid down their lives on distant battlefields. Thousands of miles from their homes, thousands of miles from their families. They fought for a sacred cause of freedom, embodying the very best of America. These selfless service members knowingly went into harm's way, prepared to face the death and destruction of war, fully aware of the price they may be asked to pay. For those that carry the memories of our fallen heroes with them every day, spouses, children, parents, siblings, the profound weight of sacrifice is a constant. Today, we reflect on those who gave their all. Today, we honor their memory. Our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen have always answered the call of duty, no matter the cost. On behalf of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, we stand here today forever grateful to those who have protected and defended these United States, including the 2.1 million service members currently serving, and like the generations who came before them, putting their lives on the line for our nation. We pledge to always remember those we have lost and dedicate ourselves to defend the America for which they gave their lives. May God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our 35th annual National Memorial Day concert. The concert will repeat immediately following this live broadcast on most PBS stations.
And now, hold your flashlights high for a song that speaks to the love and togetherness we all need so much. Once again, here is Cynthia Erivo.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Oh yeah, if you can. Take a little time out your busy day to show a little love to someone who may have lost their way. Oh, would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem that wasn't your own? Yes, we can change things if we start giving. So why don't you? Somebody's hand, make this world a better place. Oh, I know, I think you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand, make this world a better place. Oh. Oh!
Thank you, Cynthia. That was inspiring.
And now, it's time for our finale. Whether here or at home, please join in as our cast performs God Bless America.
To watch profiles of the heroes featured tonight and learn more about helping veterans and military families, visit our website at pbs.org/Memorial Day Concert or join the conversation on social media. The National Memorial Day Concert is made possible by Lockheed Martin.
For more than 2 centuries, brave Americans have served our country, protecting what matters most. Every day we are inspired by those who gave their all, making the ultimate sacrifice. This Memorial Day, we pay tribute to their courage and unwavering commitment to our country. At Lockheed Martin, we honor all those who made our future possible and keep us safe today.
And by
the Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans honors all who serve, including 236 of its esteemed members. Since 1947, the Horatio Alger Award has been presented to outstanding Americans who embody the American dream, built on hard work, perseverance, and success. Through them, the association has awarded $265 million in scholarships to enable 37,000 youth to pursue their American dream through higher education.
And by the National Park Service, Department of the Army, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, 84 Lumber, dedicated to honoring and hiring U.S. veterans. Learn more about career opportunities at 84lumber.com. General Dynamics. And by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.